Hello,
Hi, Gary. Gary.
how are you?
Good. How you doing?
Oh, doing well. Yeah, looks like I got hooked in.
Right on.
All right. Am I the only one on board so far?
Yeah, you are.
Yeah, when I clicked on the Zoom app, that works a lot better.
Okay. That's good to know. It.
Yeah. Before I was trying to dial it in, and then for some reason that wasn't working right.
Okay.
Good morning, Steve.
Hey, Gary, you went from archaic call-in to this fancy HD video with a beautiful background. What happened?
Oh, I finally got that Zoom app, so I just clicked on the Zoom app. That works a lot better than how I was trying to do it before.
Well, welcome to TV land.
Right. I don't have a computer with a camera and all that fancy stuff on there, or at least my screen doesn't have that.
I know Amanda is going to be a few minutes late because of her duties for school with the children. Morning, Kyle.
Morning. How's it going?
Good. How are you?
Good.
Morning, Kevin. Hey, Amanda.
Good morning. And it was a morning around these parts. Gary Haynes is on Zoom? Wow, welcome.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, it works better when I'm on the Zoom app.
It's true.
Morning, Jam.
Morning.
Hi, Kyle.
Hello, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Doing good.
Hi, Jan.
Hi.
Morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Gary, you look much more taller on TV than you did otherwise. Or do I got that backwards?
Well, I thought I shrank 2 inches before.
Morning, Paul.
Good morning.
Looks like here's Kevin. And hi, good morning, Carolyn.
Morning.
All right, I think we've got everybody, maybe missing a few. I'm not sure who else will be joining. And I also saw through chat that Kimberly Knox from Georgetown Outdoor Discovery is on to learn about the Passport program. So, maybe what we do is start off the meeting by just describing the Passport program, and then, for the sake of anybody on the line that wants to learn about it, this is really a working session to finalize what the program is. So, but I guess I will speak. The Passport program is designed to draw more people into Georgetown, into downtown as they visit Georgetown. It's an actual passport book that we want to put together that looks just like a passport you would use to flee the country. I mean, to go on vacation. And it would be each page would have 1 or 2 businesses on the page. Each business owner would have a stamp that you would stamp the passport as customers come into your place of business with the passport. And the reason why they would come into your business with the passport is because you would have a special offer for them on your page, and they would want to take advantage of it. If the person holding the passport gets every single business stamped in the passport book, they get entered into a drawing for a grand prize, which we want to make very substantial. We haven't figured out what that is yet. The program is envisioned to run from November through June of next year, to have it really go through the slow season plus the beginning of summer. But once July's up and running, the program is envisioned to be over at that point. Lastly, and this is something I wanted to talk about as far as my thoughts on getting businesses to participate. Lastly, we wanted to have places like the Georgetown Visitor Center and even the new hotel down at the lake, which will attract people, obviously, because they come off the highway, because the hotel is new. We're going to, and I'm not excluding any other hotels or anybody from participating and passing the passport book out to people so that we can get it in people's hands. But primarily, we want the businesses to participate vis-a-vis having an offer, having the stamp at their business, and simply honoring the offer you put in the passport book. Get the benefit of customers coming in wanting to visit your business based on your offer, stamp it, and you're done. And it's as simple as that. If you want to get more involved. And if you want to distribute the passport books, there'll be additional requirements. But I want to make sure that piece of it doesn't really scare any businesses away to say, I don't have the time for it. I don't want, it's too complicated, because we're on a very short time frame. The goal, I think, right now is to get as many participants as we can into the program. And I know we set a deadline of the beginning of October, and I'm not sure where we're at this point. So with that, that's kind of my opening remarks here. Anybody want to follow on?
I talked to 3 businesses yesterday, and they were not very clear on how it worked. So I think we really need to do a big push this week to get one-on-one time with businesses that would benefit an itinerary for somebody. And so those are going to be customer facing businesses. This is nothing to do with locals. No offense, we love locals, but it has nothing to do with locals. We all know where everything is. We don't need to know more about things. So the businesses I spoke with were High Bliss Beauty, The Rock Shop, and Kimberly Knox and I apologize, I'm going to mess up the name of her outfit company. But they were all really unclear on how it worked. So I think we have an opportunity to really go one-on-one with, again, customer facing businesses. We don't need to go to businesses that are not going to benefit an itinerary or enhance an outside visitors Georgetown experience. Those are who we need.
Yeah, and does it make sense to not really talk about distributing the passport books at this point, and just really focus and hone in on, here's your opportunity to come up with an offer to be in the book. Here's your stamp. That's all you got to do is come up with your offer and agree to stamp it? Or do we still want to have that be part of it? And in my mind, at this late date, it kind of makes things fuzzy a little bit in my mind. And I'm a pretty stupid guy. I mean, you can confuse me very easily, which is why I'm good for this job, because if I get confused, maybe someone else will get confused. But anyway, any thoughts on that piece of it, at least? Or do we want to just keep the pitch the same, despite the fact that it doesn't seem to be resonating with some of the businesses, Amanda, you spoke to? Maybe that's not the issue, because I'm not sure where the confusion would lie beyond the write-up that Carolyn emailed, which I think probably described things pretty well. Would we agree on that?
I vetted that, but I realized that maybe the disconnect was in not describing it as something that was in a tangible form that would go to a customer, or a visitor rather, who would be engaging as a tourist in the community. And so, yeah, regardless of what the write-up said, I think we have an opportunity that we have to handle immediately this week. Are you doing this? Or are you not? Because if we only have 9 businesses doing it, it's not worth anyone's time to print the passport. I'm sorry, I'm reading Kimberly's chat. The disconnect for me was that I have no actual storefront. So initially I didn't think it would benefit me, and that's fair. So, but again, we have to recognize, for example, the High Bliss Beauty, she does have a storefront, and she's like, well, no one would use it because I do facials. And I'm like, you're a great contender. You could provide a quick service for someone who's visiting Georgetown and do a mini facial or do a brow tint or whatever you do. That would be a great experience for someone who's up here for 4 days and wants to pamper themselves. And the Rock Shop, he was like, well, what would I do? And I was like, you have rocks. You can sell them in the passport. So.
Well, let me ask a question. And that's good, because you don't have to have a storefront as long as the business would be relevant for what we're talking about, and the outdoor adventure certainly is relevant, and facials as well.
Georgetown Outdoor Discovery. Sorry, Kimberly. Didn't mean to mess that up. It just dawned on me.
What is our goal? What's the minimum number of businesses that we need to confirm before we would move forward with the passport?
I don't know. I'm 20, more than 20.
I wish I had an example of the passport book. I mean, for the brewery pass book, which is a whole separate program that's administered by a company, there's a lot of breweries, so it's a pretty thick passport. Do we want to put, let me ask you, we know 9 is not enough. I mean, at the end of the day, do we just want to keep going and see how many we get and at, the day after the deadline, share an email to say, well, we've got this many that have confirmed, and what's the form of commitment or confirmation we're expecting from the businesses? Is it just, yeah, I get the program, I understand it, I'm committed to do an offer, and we just make a note of that and go to the bank with that? Paul,
Would you guys like an update?
Yeah, go ahead. Well, hang on one second, Karen. Let me just let Paul explain his head shaking no.
You need a contract. People will pull out immediately. I know it can't be a legally binding one, but we need some kind of written agreement that people are signing that they will be involved with this thing for so many months at such a level, because otherwise they'll just pull whenever they feel like it. And we'll end up in a situation with people who are more angry because they were promised something that they're not getting when they go to the store. Because I can see a lot of people, one benefit is the buy-in in the beginning is that they're showing civic responsibility and civic buy-in by being part of it. And I do think that should be part of the sales pitch. Do you want to be part of building the market here or not? In a positive way. And the second part of the sales pitch is about itinerary building, because we're coming into winter. But I do think we need some sort of a basic contract. If we just go, yeah, they're in, unless people, sign something, they pull.
No, I think what you're saying is very legitimate. I agree with it. And the other reason to do it, obviously, is we're going to promote the pass book throughout the time, and as a result, your business is going to be getting extra exposure from the town promoting the passport book. So the price for that is to honor the offer during the entire program.
Yeah, I mean, and even I know that the director of the Hotel de Paris had a little trouble with how he would fit into it, and he didn't understand quite that he had a gift shop, from what I understand. Maybe if he were on the meeting, he might pipe in or something. But one of the things that I talked to him about when I was pitching to him was that it's part of the buy-in. It shows that all the business here are part of it, and if we want to do this kind of a draw, we all need to have a buy-in to it, because otherwise, this is free advertising for you. And if you're not going to, where people are always talking about, show my store, show my store, show my store, where we're doing it, but it does have a small cost, whether it's 10% or 20% or something like that. Everything costs something. So, and maybe the guy there wants to talk. I think he's unmuted.
Yeah. I have a couple of things to say. One is, and I know this was not popular, but I do think we need to keep a scorecard or some sort of file on businesses, whether they participate or not, because when they come back at us and say, you haven't promoted me, or you're not doing a good job, we can see what they're doing too. So I think it's important to not only know who's participating, but also to know who has chosen not to participate and maybe why. Now on to my second point. I've really struggled with this for my own business. I believe in the passport. I'm supportive of it. I don't think it's a good fit for my business, and this is why. We're going to close on December 14th and be closed until June of next year. So we're going to be closed the majority of the time that we've defined for this passport. So I don't want to invite customers to come to redeem something when we're not there. We're only open for, a handful of more weeks now. So it's too late for me. Maybe if we do one next year, the fit will be better. And the other thing is I'm already doing so many promotions myself already without the passport. I really don't have anything else to offer. My admissions are discounted 30 to 50% this year. So I'm not going to give anything else away. And then this week I started 25% off sale, which is an annual thing that we do in my store. So I can't give any more off in my store than that. So I'm giving away everything already and I'm about to close. So it's not a good fit for me, but I do support the passport.
Go ahead, Gary.
I spoke to Katie, my gallery director. She thought it'd be a good idea for us to join and be a part of that passport program. So we'll probably do it. I'd like to get a little more information on it. Is there a cost to the merchants to do this?
No.
Okay, because I don't have the sheet with me. I haven't read it over a lot, but Katie thought it'd be a good idea for us to join that.
I think it'd be a great idea. Now, the question is, I don't know what, it begs the question too, and forgive me, Gary, I've been into your shop, but never to shop. Do you have price points that would make sense that, how much would people have to spend in order to take advantage of the discount? If they have to buy a $2,000 painting and people may not be able to get their passport stamped by you, do you have little things that would make sense or?
Oh yeah, we have stuff in the store anywhere from like the note cards, which are basically $5 all the way up to, a couple $1,000, but we'll probably have a price point of somewhere maybe around, I don't know, $25, $50, somewhere in that area.
Okay, yeah, and I didn't mean to put your business on the spot, but it just occurred to me as you were talking that we've got to make sure that if a business wants to participate and if they want to put an offer in, should there be some kind of a maximum amount that people would have to spend in order to get stamped so that we don't make it impossible or improbable, I should say, for them to get all their pages stamped?
It'd be a pretty reasonable price. I mean, it wouldn't be an outrageous price. Katie and I were thinking somewhere around $50.
Does everyone think $50? Put a $50 max on the amount to be redeemed or just be silent on it? Because I also wouldn't want merchants to price it high so that they get the person in their store, but then they don't have to worry about giving away too much of a discount.
Yeah.
But the idea is to pull people in the stores. And then if you pull people in the stores, they spend a little money, they know you're there, they come back, or they buy something of higher value too, right? So, Paul, you got it.
So as we move into the slow season, this is what this is all about. My thought was, and I guess I misread the talk that I had previously, but 10% or 20% off of a customer that we wouldn't have when we're getting usually Keystone, which is 100% markup in store front facing businesses, isn't that much when you wouldn't have had somebody here anyway because they're just going up to the resort. So I don't know that it's a lot to ask people to give a percentage discount. But like Brooks Brothers, they give you what, $50 off 200 if you buy from them at these places, and so a minimum is great. I'm not interested in a minimum purchase before discount. I don't really care. If you care enough to get the passport to come in, then I'm willing to give you a discount of some sort, I think. But we could, $50 is good.
Yeah,
is fair.
yeah. I guess I may be confusing myself, but I think I'm asking a different question.
Okay.
If a person really wants to get their entire passport stamped, and I'll make, this is hypothetical, unrealistic. would have, as long as a business has items they can purchase where they can walk out of the store, whether they get a 10% discount or a 50% discount, as long as the customer can walk back out of the store without them having to spend several $100s. So use that as an example, right? Let's say store's minimum product they have on their shelf or minimum service they have on the shelf is $200. And I don't know if that even exists. Would we expect every passport book holder to get entered into the grand drawing to get that page stamped and spend the $200? Because they know at quite a bit of money. Ma'am, you raised your hand.
I'm sorry,
Amanda?
was that me? Okay, sorry, you were, I didn't know if you were speaking to me or not. I think the one thing that before we like bury ourselves and get all in the weeds here, we need to remember is the likelihood the passports are going to get filled up is like pretty slim to none. It's a possibility if someone's a front range person that they're going to have it and maybe bring it back a few times in the winter, which is the other piece of this that's cool is we get a long-term ROI on a customer who maybe lives in the metro area, who got it when they came up and stayed to go ski at Loveland, and they stayed at the Mountain Inn, or they stayed at Rose Street, and they, came up for their anniversary, and then they bring the kids back and they can use it another round of times. So it's a tangible thing that kind of plants the seed to return to Georgetown to come spend money again. Your average out-of-state customer, they're not filling this thing up probably. It's going to be extremely unlikely. But did they go to Cabin Creek and get a buy one, get one beer? Yes. Did they go to Buckskin and buy a bag and a scarf? Yes. Did they go to buy stamps and jerky from Jan? Yes. So we've won in it, and we got them into town. They saw what they needed to see. They saw 6th Street. They had great Instagram pictures. They had fun walking around with their little thing, getting all excited about it. And then they left, and they leave with a happy memory. So before we get in the weeds, I think we need to let the businesses determine what's going to work best for their offer. If it's a funky offer and Carolyn wants to come back and vet it with us, and she's like, well, I'm just going to pick on Jan for a second. Jan it's a $200 off a $500 jerky purchase. That, I know, it's a lot of jerky. Then we can go, okay, and we can go back to that merchant and say, I don't know if your offer's the right fit. Let's dial it back a little bit. But if it's 10% off alligator jerky, cool, we're winning.
Yeah, so thanks, Amanda, for, I definitely was going way too far in the weeds, and you've clarified that for me as well. And I agree with everything you said. So I agree, let the merchants come back with their offer. And if it's something wonky, we can give, hopefully Carolyn further guidance on it. Kevin?
Carolyn, I think if you haven't done this already, the people I work with at the museum are very visual. And so maybe if you could do a sample mock-up ad and just show them what it could look like, I think that will answer most questions for people, just a mock-up.
Well,
Can I chime in here, please?
I'm sorry, Carolyn, Carolyn, there's a big delay. I'm going to give you the floor because I think you also wanted to give us an update. So why don't you go ahead and talk through things on your end?
We have 11 people that have already signed up. Now that counted the Hotel de Paris, because I had written down what we talked about that day, Kevin. So I can take you off. So that takes us back to 10. I don't have anything from you, Steve. I don't have anything from you, Amanda. I don't have anything from you, Paul. And I didn't have Gary. So that's 4 more. So we're not in bad shape if you're looking at 20, right? That's what I'm
Carolyn,
trying to let you know. And the people.
No, thank you. But Carolyn, can you read through the businesses besides Hotel de Paris, which we're going to eliminate, who's responded that they're going to be in on the offer?
Yep. Buckskin Trading, Georgetown Outdoor Discovery. We've exchanged emails. Kimberly and I have exchanged emails. She's just trying to come up with her offer. Capital Prize Mines, Railroad Art by Scotty. I still need their offer, but they're in. Annalisa's Accents, End of the Line, Colorado Wear, Georgetown Jerky, Clear Creek Inn, and Clear Creek Glass and Gifts, and Faux Bay.
I think there's going to be a couple of low hanging fruit there that will be easy to add to that. You know, besides my business, which I just haven't gotten around to telling Carolyn I'm in, and I'll give you the offer and the others. But also, I can't imagine Cabin Creek not wanting to participate. And I can help. You know, Amanda and I can help get the right person, you know, for that.
Craig's actually on the chat. He's an attendee, and he just said they're still working on their offer.
Okay, so Cabin Creek will be in.
So that's 10, so 11, let's see, so 12 with me, 13 with you, Steve. Paul, Visitor Center's 14. Highbless Beauty's gonna do it, that's 15. So there's another thing at the bottom. Dana, so that'll be the coffee shop, 16. And then if you count the periphery businesses, either 17, 18, probably. Shop International is pretty low hanging fruit. So those are people we should go after. Next is that list of like every 6th Street business. Alpine's low hanging fruit.
Was a cooker in it?
Oh yeah, oh, go ahead, Carolyn.
Oh, so I explained this program to almost every business on 6th Street last weekend, or the weekend before, I guess. And so the concern, and we actually brainstormed offers. I brainstormed offers with almost every business. Kevin can attest to this because that's what I did with him. The Rock Shop, I'm not sure what happened there, Amanda. I spoke to the daughter. She and I brainstormed what they might be able to do in the Rock Shop. So, you know, most everybody said they got the email. I did email every business last night, reminding them of the deadline, and that did prompt quite a few more people to email me late last night or this morning. I got a few.
Saw that.
But, you know, like I said, even you guys on the panel, the only one I got from on the panel is Jan.
Paul, are you
I'm
on?
not asking about distributing the book. All I'm asking them for is the name of the business, the discount they're offering, and their logo. That's all I'm asking for.
I think a lot of people are going to want to think about what their offer is based on what everybody else is doing. And if you're brainstorming with them, we can also use what people have offered you so far. But as far as the rest of us, I'm sure who are part of the people wanting to push this, it's obvious that we're in. So, I mean, I've said 4 times that I'm in. What would help with us to help you is if you would get us a spreadsheet. Excuse me, if you would get us a spreadsheet with who's in, who's not, that has their contact information. I can call Mike Moore if he's out and see if I can be influential with him and find out exactly what their reticence is. You know, we might have a buddy who's someone that when you're talking to them might be reticent, but if they talk to a friend, they might decide they're in, or they might completely back out and say they're closed during the winter. So I don't know how influential I am, but I think it would help us because then we can know, okay, I saw the people you did, but it's really hard for me to look at a list like that. I need a spreadsheet where it's XX, XX, XX. No, these are highlighted, and then I can call somebody. And it doesn't, and I think that's what, 5 minutes worth of work?
I think that if you look at the chat, there's the civic, that was from Chris at Cabin Creek. The civic participation plea, which makes sense. And Carolyn, I totally agree. I apologize for not emailing you. I know sometimes it's just easier, so I will email you, but I agree that there's a civic participation plea that was from Chris at Cabin Creek would make sense. If people look at a sheet and they're like, oh, well, visitor center's doing it, I better do it, you know? So,
Well, Cabin Creek brought up the other point that you just mentioned, competitor would, your competitor's doing them. And so Carolyn, my offer, and I'll email this to you, is Guanella Pass will do what Cabin Creek's going to do. So my page will refer them back to Cabin Creek's page, and we can just call it, I'm just joking, obviously. Sorry.
I'm going to offer you a layered discount, and it's going to start at 10% off. And then I'm going to figure out a price point that increases the percentage off on the next products afterwards. And it may end up being you start at 10% off and then you get 20% off of the second, whatever. But I'll get you something by the end of tomorrow.
Yeah, I guess let's, just for the sake of organization and helping Carolyn, if the businesses that are on the chat that are participating, including mine and the ones on the chat, let's just make a commitment to get our offers to Carolyn within the next 2 days, just so that she doesn't have to worry about checking our boxes off. Help her keep things straight, I guess.
What are most people offering? Or is it like flat 10% or just varies?
I've got, I can read down through them, 25% off of regularly priced clothing, 20% off a tour, 10% off your entire purchase excluding sale items, 15% off entire purchase excluding ice cream and soda. Buy one, get one free on jerky, deep fried peanuts or licorice, equal or lesser value. 5% discount off any guest reservation, and a 10% discount off any item in the store. Those are the ones that I've gotten so far.
All right.
Yeah, those are nice.
Grizzly Creek will probably be, will definitely probably be a part of it. So.
Just FYI, I'll call you to the chat. Chris Wood is on with Craig, marketing coordinator for Cabin Creek, and he's going to be regularly attending promotions from now on. We'll keep working on Cabin Creek to have someone actually join the commission, but in the meantime, if they're a regular participant, that would be great. All right. So help me with the math one more time. Carolyn, did you, in all the conversations, did you tally up how many good ones you feel you have, plus the extras you heard through the discussions? How many do you have tallied up that look like, highly probable participants?
I think 15 is what I'm seeing, but I don't know about everybody that's in the chat.
Okay, so there's a 15, if you already include them, don't add it to it, but add Guanella Pass Brewery. Who else do we add?
You're one of them.
Cooper's
I
on.
wrote down in addition to the ones I have on my list, I scribbled down Gary Haynes, Guanella Pass, Cabin Creek, and Cooper's.
I don't know, Carolyn, if you saw in the chat,
Who am I
Paul brought up
missing?
a good point about maybe, is bread open? Paul brought up bread and Silver Plume. Was that you that someone brought up bread?
It was I who brought up Silver Plume, and I'm not sure if the bread bar is open or not. I heard the coffee
They're
shop
not.
is doing business.
They're not, okay.
They're for appointments. Or
Appointments for drinks.
The reason
no.
the reason I suggested possibly including them, even though they aren't business holders in Georgetown, is that we're the Georgetown Silver Plume National Historic Landmark District. And because we can't advertise this as a passport book necessarily, we're going to have to change the name of it. And I was thinking of something you're past to the National Historic Landmark District, because that helps us promote, keeps us within branding, since we're branding the National Historic Landmark District as part of who we are in Vintage, Colorado. And if anybody's open up there, I thought it would just be a nice gesture to Silver Plume, but also it makes it so that the family's together, since we all are so tight 2 miles away from each other. But it's not, it was just a thought.
So why can't?
Also, Carolyn,
Passport.
Craig pointed out that Dana's businesses will be in, so that's the coffee shop, the kitchen store, and the plant store. Yeah.
So let me just, and Jen, I'll get right back to you. Let me just work with Carolyn for 1 second. So with those added 3 businesses that Paul just rattled off, what would and the Guanella Pass, Cooper's, and Gary's business, what is your tally right now?
19.
Sounds like we're almost there. If Amanda's number was real, meeting the 20 is,
It was honestly pretty arbitrary, but I mean, I think it's a good goal.
Well, it sounds like we're going to get it. We'll probably, sounds like we may be lucky and we'll get a handful more businesses, over the next couple of days, depending upon what the next outreach strategy is going to be. Because I think Carolyn did a lot of good groundwork on it so far. And the question will be, do we want to do an outreach vis-a-vis having them sign something as kind of the next step, before we actually officially count them in, we would email what they would have, a PDF to them, telling them what they would have to sign. And again, I agree with Paul, something very simple and sweet, but you're gonna make your offer available the entire period. And we can all pitch in and draft that, or whatever we need to do. And maybe that's one more chance to not only contact the businesses we feel are higher probability, but still haven't signed up yet, that maybe Carolyn, has already sent an email to and maybe already visited.
Can you tell me what would be in that so that I can draft that for you? So you want a statement that they're going to honor the discount through 6/30, right?
Yeah, basically, it would just need to be I think a few bullet points saying, for participating in Georgetown's passport book, here are the things you agree to, and maybe we throw those out, and I'll call on people that have a bullet point they want to add or take one off, but it would be, you agree to participate from the beginning of the program through June 30th of 2021. You agree to honor the discount that is in the pass book that you provided, and you agree to stamp the pass book upon redeeming the discount, and in return for that, you will get exposure extra. You will get the exposure that comes with the town promoting the passport. So Kevin, go ahead.
The more I think about in agreement, like Paul mentioned, the better I think that idea is, because I think we can all agree there is an issue with people having inconsistent hours. So if they have an offer that needs to be redeemed, maybe this will encourage them to be more consistent with their hours. But if they're not, this could backfire in our faces. So I think having some sort of memorandum of understanding or agreement signed, even though Paul said, it's probably not enforceable, I think it shows the seriousness, and it might actually aid the whole town by having people be in their storefronts more consistently.
Well, you're not, I assume you're not suggesting there's required hours. I mean,
No.
we're not going to be able to do that.
No, but if, but that may be part of the description in these ads is, when are they open? So not to go on a Tuesday if they're always closed on a Tuesday. So I think days and hours should be listed with each ad. The other thing, back to Amanda about arbitrary numbers, I think we decided it's 2 ads per page, so each page would have 4 ads, 2 and 2, front and back. So if we just think of the number in groups of 4, that's probably what we'll end up with. And if we have an odd space, maybe we'll just have to put like a, artwork or something.
I mean, is there, I understand the cost factor, but is there a reason why we wouldn't give a business a full passport page, which is this big? And so I'm cutting it in half, or I'm doubling, I should say,
Well,
number of pages.
that's an easy one. If someone has a full page and someone has a half page, the half page person will be jealous of the full page person. That's
It
the
would,
answer.
if we did a half page per merchant, that would also maybe let us print merchant hours so that it's easily, just a small print, like on the bottom, a uniform print, like Cooper's open at 12 noon daily, closed Wednesdays. So
Well,
that way somebody can look at it and see.
Well, is that you're saying you can include that by doing half pages versus full pages?
Full pages, excuse me, is what I
okay.
meant. Sorry, I said it the wrong way. But if we did like a full page and it was a full page per merchant, Guanella Pass Brewery, open it, whatever and that's something, that's a very good point to consider. We need to remind everybody, what are your winter hours? Because we moved to winter hours today. So it's, if there's things that need to be considered, that would be the place to put it. And then it's into people's hands so they can look and go, oh, okay, well, it's Wednesday, we should go to Cabin Creek instead.
Yeah, I without regard to cost, and so we have to understand the cost, but without regard to cost, I just feel a full page for each business is the way to go, because each business will have the chance to put its best foot forward on its own page, and and to the degree they can design something nice, versus it being a half a page of a passport size page is a very small amount of real estate.
So are you having the businesses design their own page? Because I've asked for their logos. I thought that was something we were doing, but I'm happy to let the businesses do their own.
Well, it's a good question. Amanda, I'll call on you, but I certainly would require the business to have their logos on it, only because if they're not thinking in those terms, we need to help them think in those terms. It's got to be very visual, like even Kevin said. It's got to draw your eyes to the page. Go ahead, Amanda.
I just got a text from Craig, and it sounds like Cabin Creek would like to help with the graphic design piece of it. So which is, I think, if there's uniformity in the way it looks, and then everyone's got their logo, that would probably be the best. It shouldn't look like it was put together by, like really disorganized.
That's actually a good point. I think if we had a standard page layout where this is where your logo is going to go, this is where your business hours and days open will go, and then this is where your offer is going to go. That way, it doesn't become like a newspaper stuffer, and you're pulling it out, and you got a cajillion ads you're looking through. Paul?
So when I was talking about the contract, this is one of the reasons. So one of the things I think we should do, like you just said, is to firstly full page, because otherwise it's not going to be full enough. And the second part of it is that on the contract, we can give them whatever they've given us, put the logo, put a portion at the bottom of the contract that shows them what they're putting in. So they choose. I worked for a printer for like 3 months once, and we have these, and it's not so binding, but we had them double check. And whenever you get printing done anyway for advertising, they have you double check your proof. And so for them not to get mad at us in the end, their contract or agreement needs to have the proof on it, basically. So your logo, your hours that you're agreeing to or whatever. And I don't understand, the punitive part of it, whatever, it's not a thing for me. It's just that I want to make sure that we're all on the same page in the end. And then and then whatever statement they want to make. And so this is about the size of it. This is what you get. You get this many words. And I think that if we give that to everybody and they sign off on it, that'll decrease the won't eliminate, but will decrease the after production pushback or feedback that we get. It'll make it so that it's a more positive experience all around.
So I guess the question then, and I agree with everything you just said, the question, there's two things we need to produce in very short order. We need to produce the graphic design, or the template, I should say, for the actual page. That's going to be part of then I hate saying contract, it'll be part of the agreement that the merchant will sign. So the question is and perhaps I'm, going now to Chris Wood, when would we be able to see what your recommendation is for like a template? And he's hopefully he's still on chat, or Craig. Oh, good, he's getting promoted. Chris's mute button still appears, so does Craig's. Nope, now they're gone. Nope, they're there.
Sorry, this is Chris here.
Hey, Chris, how are you?
Good. Nothing like being called on the spot. Steve, thank you for, and Craig's texting me saying we just promoted you. No, I mean a single page layout to show with the promotional piece that you're sharing with business, would take an evening to produce. I think we would just base it on the beer passport size, I would guess. And yeah, a lot of that's copy intensive with the logo. So that could be put together in 48 hours,
All right, that's great. Would you be able to then email the template to Carolyn Hone, and we can get her email address? That way we can get it in that time frame, and then she can share it with the commission. And perhaps if there's hopefully
sure, not information.
Yeah, not a lot of comment, then we will have something to run with. I'm reading a message from Paul. I think the agreement needs to be positive. Welcome to Georgetown program. Blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I think there should be 5 blahs, not 3, but anyway. And I agree with what Paul's saying. Do we have a volunteer to draft the actual agreement? Amanda? All right, so maybe Amanda, you can draft the agreement, and Chris will turn around a template. We can marry the two together in 48 hours, which would be, is that Friday? And then where does that put us time frame wise? Because then do we want to circulate both of those on Friday once we get them, and then on Monday, as long as no one's got any comments, then that's what Carolyn uses to sign up the businesses, and we get going on the program? I think part of what we need in the agreement, Amanda, and again, if I'm going to weeds, please save me from myself. Part of the agreement needs to be, here's your agreement, here's a template. We need your logo and we need your content for the template by this date, and give them a hard date too, so that they can turn it back around to us.
I already gave them a hard date of Friday. That was in both the initial email when I met with them all, and when I sent the email last night. The hard date was Friday.
That's
That was
cool.
based on conversation.
That's cool. I get that, but it ain't gonna happen on Friday.
That
You know,
was the
and so
date you
I'm
guys
sure no
agreed
merchant's
on.
going to be upset that. But I know. We agreed on that, and now we're evolving the program, and we are going to delay the deadline so that they can get the template and they can get the agreement in front of them, and then they can respond to that. Does that make
I'll
sense,
draft
Carolyn?
the agreement as soon as the call's over. I'll get it done before I get up from my laptop.
Right, but we won't have the template until Friday, so we can't do anything until Friday. If we want to, and I
So-
think it would be unrealistic to give the businesses a template on Friday and say, you need to get this back to me today.
So should we extend
So
it?
you're hoping that the template, are you hoping that the template convinces more to do it? Because the contract or whatever only has to go to those who are going to be part of the program, right? So once we have the list of those who say they want to do it, I can go to every one of them with that agreement. But does it make sense to send the agreement to every business? That's what I'm trying to figure out. The agreement, I thought, was that once you say you want to be in this, we're making you commit to certain things by signing this agreement.
Well, you're actually bringing up another point I think might be worth considering is do we want to hold people to the Friday deadline, send them the agreement Amanda is going to draft immediately, and have them return that agreement, sign that agreement. The only thing is the merchant doesn't know what the template is going to be, but we can tell the merchant and even tell them in the agreement, we can define what that template is. The template's going to be a common layout for each page. It's going to have a space for your logo. It's going to have a space for your business hours or days. You can put whatever you want in there, and it'll have a space for what your offer is. Go ahead, Paul.
You might get a secondary push of people involved though, if you make like an emergency appeal after Friday in person with the mock-up that we have and the agreement, and then along with, and the reason I keep pushing for spreadsheets is just how I read things. It has nothing to do with how you work, and it's fine. Along with, these people have bought in, these people are not, these people are buying in, they're doing this, and you have that full package to offer people. We may get 100% buy-in or close to it if we do it. That part of the visual, like Kevin was saying, visual pitch combined with the other things that people were saying makes for your better sales. At the end, it has cachet, it has pressure, it has all of it. It's like when you go into the brewery and you realize that all the in-crowd has a mug and everybody wants a mug. You may not have bought in the beginning portion of it, but you see that it has value, and now it has more value you're going to buy in. So that's my suggestion is that we with the deadline, we maybe want to push it out a couple more days and see if we can do an in-person appeal to people who weren't part of it with what we have. Does that make sense? I'm looking at Steve right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does. I'm sorry, I'm getting distracted. The frickin' woodpecker's pecking on my wall behind me again.
Hate those peckers.
I honestly can go either way. I don't want to bombard. I don't want to bombard merchants with unnecessary communication. Notwithstanding, Carolyn brings up a good point. We already told them you got to do something on Friday, and we probably owe them a communication one way or another to say, get us this and we'll get you that, or which means get us your agreement signed and we'll get you the template. Or do we send out communication saying we are coming up with an agreement and a template. We will be bringing that to you on this day, whether it's email, in person, or both. And that way we can perhaps avoid any confusion that's associated with piecemealing it to the merchants, right? I don't know if people have got an opinion one way or another, including Carolyn.
Well, I'm in town on Saturday because I have a new vendor starting at the booth. So I'm in Saturday morning. So I can go back to all the businesses if I have something in writing. I can certainly go to the ones that have already signed up and hand them the agreement. And I can make another appeal on Saturday if you have something I can show people. Be happy to do that on Saturday. I just can let you know that I spent 5.5 hours visiting businesses the last time I did this. So it's not an instant, and I didn't go to your businesses because I knew you knew about the program. So it's very time consuming to do it. I just want to let you in there. And I am way over allotted hours this month. So that was my concern. The good news is Saturday's next month. So.
Yeah, I guess, you know, being the government contractor I never wanted to be, sounds to me like your allotted hours start again tomorrow or on tomorrow, and maybe, you know, they get shifted. I don't know. You talk to Kent and Jen about that, and if there's a problem with your availability based upon the hours, then we can address that. But I would think that this initiative, you know, I don't know how you work, Carolyn. Are you allotted a maximum number of hours a month, or can you work more hours in one month and less hours in a following month? I don't know.
I don't know. I can tell you that I've been under since I started. But this month I am way over because we had 6 different things happen this literally all in last week. So the week before I went on vacation, I had 47 hours and I'm allotted 20.
Well,
So,
for the sake of
nature of
for the sake of the commission, we're just going to move forward with the recommendation and have you do what we want you to do. And if there's a problem with yours, then we would ask Jen and I know Ken had to drop off to come back to us to say, we can't use Carolyn, and we go to some kind of a plan B, but I would think we'd be okay on that.
so if I understand correctly, I'm going to take the list of people that respond by Friday and try to get to all of them on Saturday with the agreement to try to get some things in writing. And then also visit other companies that I think are good candidates to see if I can't talk them into joining, because we'll have the list of those. By Saturday, I'm going to have a pretty healthy list of people who are participating that I could show other merchants and perhaps convince more to do it. Is that what I understand?
Makes sense to me. Does everyone on the panel agree with that being the course of action? Yeah.
Yep.
Sounds good.
So Carolyn, you need to get Amanda's agreement, and you'll need that before you can do anything. I don't know what your approach is, Carolyn. Do you email that to the businesses, you know, to the 19 businesses we just talked about, and just say, just a heads up, you know, this is what this is what I need back from you, and maybe that'll help your efficiency a little bit. You know, if I, for example, in the brewery, respond to your email ahead of time, that's one less business you have to go and meet in person. And, you know, I can cook my pizzas and you can go visit someone else. So. Okay, I don't know if you're,
Yeah,
I don't know.
the other thing I
don't
just
know
wanted to mention, I know Shops International was mentioned. Shops International told me no, they don't want to be a part of it. So that was one business that said no. Very few said no, but they said no. And I did speak.
Okay, that's fine. I mean, that's their decision.
Who'd you talk to, Carolyn? Was it Janice
I
or was
don't
it
have the
Mike?
list of names in front of me, but
No, I
It
mean,
was a woman.
at Shop International, was it Janice or Mike?
Janice, it was a woman.
Okay, thanks.
Jan, I got Jen in my head, Jan.
So I'm just trying to also clarify, so are we gonna, or is Carolyn or someone have to go back to the businesses with their actual layout page? Or is
Yeah.
that gonna,
Good question. I didn't mean to cut you off. I'm sorry. I think Carolyn's job is to return signed agreements and return the fill temp, advise us is what's the best approach to do that. She'll get the agreement today. She'll get the agreement today. I'm getting a note saying my internet's unstable, so if you can't hear me, raise your hand. If she gets the agreement today, and if she gets the template Friday, you know, what would be a reasonable time, Carolyn, and if you're going to go canvas people on Saturday, you know, and I assume it's Saturday because that's when you would expect to be able to hit as many businesses as you can because they're all in their stores. You know, when would we expect all this to be coming back to us for the purpose of then going to press? Let me rephrase it. But
I think Chris offered to mock this up. I think what Jan was asking is when we have proof pages, all those proof pages should be signed off on by the business owner. That's a second thing after the fact.
okay.
Before we go to print, they've got to see what their page looks like and they need to give us a thumbs up. So that's another contact, but that's only with probably 15, well, 20, 25, maybe 30 businesses. It's not all.
Here though, once businesses commit, sign the agreement, I'm assuming businesses will be very responsive and, you know, they're on board with the program, right? So I guess, do we even know where we're getting these things printed?
Kevin has a good printer. Kevin. Kevin, will you name your printer? Oh, am I yelling? Shit. Kevin has a great printer.
Yes.
It looks like Kevin's flying the space shuttle there. He's pressing buttons all here and there.
Yes. Yes. I have two printers. I have to think. The firm graphics. The firm graphics. They're down in Denver, and I got them from History Colorado, and History Colorado, of course, is on a budget, and of course, Hotel de Paris is, and they've been excellent. Been with them for 10 years. The firm graphics.
And then I also know that
I wanna
Canvas
ask
can get that.
Was there another question, Paul?
I was saying that I can also offer an additional printer that we can use to compare prices. I'll just get the name of it. It's Cass has it. She's somebody that does a lot of volume for her.
Yeah.
And then Chris, there's Chris. So perfect.
So I had a question. I know Cass had told me she had printers if and when I ever needed them. So I know Cass was a good resource for that. And I thought I heard early on that you wanted these numbered so that we were keeping track of who had each passport. So that it's not a straight copy. I just want to clarify that, but I thought I heard you say you wanted them numbered so that we know who has number 34, their name, email address, and contact, well, whatever contact information you want on that back page. That's something else that has to be designed, that back page that gets torn off to register the passport? Or are you changing your mind?
Paul, I think that if you can address that question, I don't know if your screen looks like it may be froze or another picture. Oh, there you are. You're on mute, Paul. I can't hear you.
I think because we need the hotel buy-in, because there's like 3 pieces of this. Sorry, I know my name's not Paul, but I just jumped in. Because we need to have the lodging buy-in. We need to check and see what's going to be the path of least resistance for them. So maybe that's a question for Justin and the new hotel, because they're the ones that are going to give them out mostly, in the visitor center too, but mostly those 2 components. What is the easiest?
And honestly, I missed the question.
So when I talked with the businesses, when I actually met with them, I said that one of the options was whether they could actually hand them out or not. That was an option. And the question was how we were going to get the contact, those sheets back, the contact information back. Because I thought that was another goal of this, was to develop a distribution list or contact infos for people for the town. I thought that was a goal. So, and I'll give credit where credit's due. Annalise made it simple. She said, couldn't I just take a picture of the form they fill out and email it to you, so that nobody had to swing by and pick them up, nobody had to drop them off, nobody had to mail them anywhere? If the person just fills out the back page, tears it off, Annalise says, I can take a photo of it, and any day I give one out, I can send you those photos so you could add them to a spreadsheet. I thought that was a great idea, and it made it pretty easy for the merchants that want to give them out.
Yeah.
But that was her, so it was a
You could do a Google Doc. My original idea was to do a Google Doc spreadsheet, and you can either leave that there, or because not everybody's going to hold a smartphone. Like I'm thinking of some of the septuagenarians that are there that are running businesses here, might not have their phone ready for a picture. But yeah, take a picture, do whatever. As long as it ends up in the same document, we're good. And you know, if we put up a Google Docs or whatever, I would have that ready at my desk that somebody could do right then, and it will go instantly to the communal document. So whatever is easiest. I don't even think it has to be torn off, frankly.
I think both make sense, but your septuagenarians are not going to know how to use Google Docs, a shared document.
That's right. You know, some people will just have a yellow pad if they do, but if you have a spread, whatever you have, you know, if somebody wants to take a picture and do it, go for it. But we just need to have one spreadsheet that we're working off of as a central document, and then we can, however we fill it is great, personally.
So just to back up a little bit and pull, Kevin and Paul are going to provide Carolyn, if they haven't already and you haven't marked it down, the 2 printer recommendations. And Carolyn, you can get in touch with both of them and see what's the best option there. Amanda's going to give Carolyn the agreement today. And Carolyn in turn is going to businesses no later than Saturday, email, personal visits, both, whatever she decides is most efficient, so that she can get the 19 people the agreement, and then she'll also have the template by Friday too, so she can presumably on Saturday hand the template out as well if she's visiting businesses on Saturday. Chris brought up a point on chat. He said, is it really necessary to do a cycle back and have them approve the proof once their logo is used and their content's provided? I'd hate to make a editing error and then have a business be represented, they're open 7 days a week when they're not, and then we cause ourselves the same problem as we would have if the business doesn't participate. I do think I do think it's probably necessary to give businesses a shot to say, okay, here's your proof, here's a template filled out. You've got 24 hours to say yay or nay, and no response is an affirmation or something like that. I don't know if anyone's got an opinion on that, but that can be part of the process. And Carolyn, in talking to the printer, I think you need to get a handle on what the printing deadlines are, what they require, so that, you know, if our goal is to have this printed and in the hands of the distributors by what, November 1st? Is that what we're talking about? Then
What's our quantity, and do you need them sequentially numbered?
two very good questions that we should answer, unless someone's going to have a revelation 2 weeks from now. But how many do we want to print? Or do we want to find out what the cost is and agree to that on email? You know, the printer will say to print, you know, Carolyn can ask for different volume breaks, and we can then calculate what the per piece price is depending upon the volumes. And sometimes it makes sense to double your order just because you're only going to spend incrementally a little bit more money depending upon what the printer does. So we want to go that route, have Carolyn come back and let us know what the quotes are for each volume, and then what the time frame is, and then we can make a decision on email. Well, we're actually meeting next Wednesday too, so for our normal meeting, we can make that decision then if Carolyn can get that information.
And you want them numbered. I just want to verify that, right? 1 through whatever.
Yeah, okay, so and that'll be the second question. So let's, Carolyn, get us the printer quantity breakouts. What's the maximum number of book? If these were very inexpensive, what would be the maximum number of books we think we would print, guys? Come on, Amanda. Come on, you came up with 20 and it was right. So give me another number today.
2,000?
So maybe, Carolyn, just tell a printer, if they say, well, God, give me a ballpark, just say, give me logical quantity breaks based on cost up to 2,000. And then, yeah, if there's a magic number of 2,500 because of whatever they do, then say, yeah, you can go beyond the 2,000.
Paul, how many, I was just gonna ask, oh, you've got your hand raised. How many brochures, I mean, and these are not gonna be like the brochures, but how many brochures did we print last time?
I didn't print the brochures, but it's enormous amounts. I mean,
yeah, it's like 25,000 or something.
Yeah, I mean, I give away well over 15,000 maps a year, for example.
Okay, so maybe I'm low. That's kind of what I'm looking for.
Handouts for people. I'll have these behind the desk for people who ask, the people that I'm sending downtown, and see if they want to participate in it, so that we could start with 2,000. It's fine. Something that I think is important is that as we're printing, we're talking about cover, because the cover, an actual cover like a book, because the one reason that those passport guides are so great in other places is they look like passports or visas or whatever, and we can choose whatever our color is and stuff, but it needs to be on a covered sheet so that it looks professional. And even though we're numbering them, that will prevent duplication if anybody wants to duplicate.
There's really great examples that Chris has shared in the chat. If you guys hadn't had a chance from the last meeting to go on to the passport website, the actual, the Denver passport, or the mountain passport, there's 2 really good links to that. Also, on a side note, I don't know if you guys all saw that Idaho Springs is doing a scavenger hunt that you win. It's the same concept as us. They're taking a little different approach, but it's $1,000 for hitting all the businesses in the scavenger hunt. So similar concepts that are happening, which is great. I mean, it's flattery, and you know, this is not an original idea on our end. It's just it's a catalyst to get people to all the different parts of town. So
Well, it goes back to what Carolyn's next question is, do we want them numbered and how do we want to track this? Because the other thing is it can become part of like, 3 months from now, we can send a note out to a communication out to passport holders and sweeten the offer. We can say, we're going to do this fun thing next weekend. If you're a passbook holder, come back up to Georgetown and do this, and you get that. And it builds that relationship with the passbook holders, right? And we do our own scavenger hunt in the middle of February when it's 20 below out.
Yes to
You want
numbering.
a thicker cover. That's going to impact the printing cost as well. Do you want a thicker cover on it? Because I just looked at that one picture. It looked like the cover was a little bit thicker, cardstock or something.
This cannot be cheap. Like, I mean, we're not going to make this like this needs to be we have the budget for it because of the fact when I did our budget for town, we didn't do any events. So all of our event money, we still have our money set aside for the what are we working on, Kevin? The
Banners.
Thank you. That's the word. I'm good at English. But we have money. We can't spend like 20 grand on these, but we've got room in the budget. This is too important. So yes, it needs to look super slick.
I'd like to hear from Jan about what type of paper the pages should be, since we're using stamps. To me, that means it needs to be an absorbent paper for the pages, not a slick paper. Is that correct, Jan?
Yeah, if it's a shiny surface, then the ink will not soak in. So yeah, but any kind of just a, cotton paper that a printer would use. We would use water-based ink, I'm assuming. So, yeah.
And just as you're talking and writing, Carolyn, Chris is throwing up a bunch of links. So make sure you're capturing those as reference points. Those are hopefully will be helpful.
And again, for Jan, are we purchasing these stamps from you?
But we haven't discussed that at all. I would have to, that will be another chat.
Okay.
It depends.
And then also
what
the
you want to do. Some people may
pads.
already have their stamps.
True.
I have a variety of like retired stamps that might work. We could look at.
Okay.
I can also, this would be a purchase, but I can get their little square ink spots, ink pads that are 1-inch squares, which would work with a small stamp.
Yeah, that's the other component is the stamp pad itself. And so we need to, I think, budget for that. I don't think we should call on Jan to just give us stuff unless she needs a tax write-off. I know.
I wish.
That's it.
All right, Chris is jumping off. So Carolyn, he gave you his number if he can provide you with any other help. Thank you, Chris. Why am I having visions of traveling to third world countries in the late 80s and early 90s and walking up to immigration and you see this mean looking dude behind the counter and it's like 2 a.m. because that's the only time the flight gets in and he's like doing this. He's like stamping every page of your passport. Anyway, for those
That's
who travel.
because you're looking at me right now.
You look like, right now, you look like the dude with your blue shirt. What's that guy's name? The lead singer, not Brian. Anyway, sorry. A little distracted here today. All right, so Carolyn. have we helped enough to give you a solid project plan over the next week? Or what, how do we help fill in the gaps for you?
No, I think we're good. So
I
when
will
do
get
you
the
want
agreement.
these estimates back by?
Is it reasonable to get them back by Wednesday's meeting? Can we talk about it on Wednesday and get kind of an update from you? Carolyn, I don't know if you froze up or,
No, that's fine. I'll try to get
okay.
to the printers. I only have the contact for the printing company, so I'll reach out to Cass to see if she has others she recommends.
I'm sorry, you only have one printer? From who?
Kevin put the
Kevin
contact information
sent-
for one.
Right, I got the one from Kevin. I thought somebody said they had another one, but I will reach out to Cass to see if she has any.
Okay, I thought Paul said he had one, but if not, you can reach out to Cass. It'd be good to have at least two of them, but we don't have the time to mess around either, but I think we need more than one for sure.
It was Cass that I was going to suggest you call,
Okay.
or I call, one or the
Okay.
other.
Yeah, so call Cass, Carolyn. I see your face, Gary. You have a,
Hey, I have another printing company I go through. It's called Impressions. I will send that information to Carolyn this morning. Also, I sent Carolyn an email saying we are definitely in for the passport, and I'll send her a logo today also.
terrific.
And get me an agreement so Katie and I can look it over and we'll get going on it.
Is there a format for the logo that we're looking for, or is a PDF, JPEG, an AI file, or any of that? I'm sure some businesses may not have anything that would go beyond a JPEG or something, but I don't know.
Don't you need a PDF or an EPS? Kyle, no.
I can send Carolyn a PDF. 300 resolution is what's kind of the standard.
I mean, it's going to be a very small print, so I would think resolution becomes less important. But obviously, we can deal that, I guess, if someone sends a format that just looks crappy on the passbook, we'd have to circle back and work with that merchant on making it something legible, I guess.
Yeah, they can provide a
I had,
JPEG, some kind of raster, as long as it's a big enough image. It'll still work.
You
The
take
ones
care
I've
of
gotten to date are either PNG. Yeah, the ones I've gotten to date are either PNG or JPEG. I think that's the formats I've gotten to date. I did get a photograph from one because they don't have a logo. So they said people just use a photograph of their sign. So I accepted the photograph.
Yeah, a photograph, even if it doesn't look phenomenal on the page, is better than nothing, and it's going to be a free-for-all as well. So we'll see what works.
Were there a lot of just photographs of signs? Because if there's only a handful of them, I'd be willing to try to convert those to an actual image, just so it doesn't look like Auto Trader.
Shopping for a car house.
Yeah.
So did you get that?
I'll send you the one. I'll send you all the ones that I've gotten to date.
Okay, thank you.
And then Carol and Jen in town hall said they have a printer in Golden for the town, so that might be a good source for you as well. All right, what what else, guys, on the passport? Do
What
they
size-
need, do they need to have a COVID test done before they enter Georgetown with their passport? That was a joke.
What size are the passports?
Passport size. Do you have a passport? Gary?
I do, yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be that size.
Same size, okay.
Yeah.
So can I put a bug in people's ears for the next meeting?
Sure.
Bollards cost about $500 each for temporary drop-in lock bollards.
I'm sorry.
And
I'm sorry.
bollards-
For what?
Bollards, those things instead of the awful fencing things that we have. And remember, I talked about this when we first started doing this,
Oh, right.
Edmond, that we should look at something more permanent anyway for all of our events that we do, since we do a few events a year where we shut off the streets. Bollards is something that I would like to address at the next meeting. And then also we need to address some kind of street heating if we're gonna continue this in the winter. And that, not for now, but I just wanted to put the bug in everybody's ear to think about. I think it should be on the agenda.
Jen, can you add that to the agenda, please, for Wednesday?
And Jen, this is Kevin. Also, if you would put on the agenda banners. I have my inventory complete now.
I apologize. I have to get going. I'm gonna get that over to you guys, but I'm gonna bop off, okay?
Okay,
Sorry, I don't
thanks.
need to leave early.
I think we're wrapping up.
Okay.
So,
See you guys
all right.
Wednesday.
I have some updates on the agency stuff we discussed last time. I don't know if you want to hear that this week or if you want to wait till next week.
Yeah, I would prefer to just keep this, the workshop for the passport, and then we can talk on Wednesday about general business, including what Paul brought up, so.
Perfect.
Is there anything else passport book related? Because if not, I'll adjourn the workshop.
I have nothing.
All right, guys. Well, thanks for your help. I think we
It's
made a
over-
lot
it's
of
over.
progress. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone. Have a great day.
Hey, Steve? Steve? Can I ask you a question real quick?
Oops. Yeah,
Sorry. Hey, sorry.
sure.
I was helping somebody here in the office. I heard add banners to the agenda. And was there anything else I missed?
What did Gary call those? I mean, what did Paul call those things?
I think it was called Ballards or something like that.
Ballards.
Ballard.
I could,
Okay.
Yeah. Just, we want to add
And-
those. Oh, go ahead.
No, you go ahead. Sorry.
No, Paul had two agenda items that he wanted to add on to the agenda for next week. And then Kyle will just talk about his items. Kyle wanted to update us on agencies, and so maybe you can call that out separate from Bullfinch. And as a commission member, he was vetting out some agencies, so he's going to talk about that.
Okay. Got it. Thank you.
What was Paul's second item? He had bollards, and what was the other one?
Was it banners?
Yeah, I don't remember, but if it's not, Paul can say, he can clarify when we shoot the agenda out and talk on Wednesday. So,
Okay. I'll be sending the agenda out later today.
okay. All right, guys. See you later. Bye.
all right, bye.
See ya.